Frame data z Lies of P. Zobaczymy, czy Lies of P będzie miało dobre hitboxy. W grach From Software to bywa zabawnie nieraz, no to
Lies of P
zobaczymy.
is a strange video game. On the
się
surface,
napisy?
it appears to have the same DNA as games like
Dobre ma
Sekiro,
hitboxy.
Dark Souls, Elden Ring, all blended together into one game.
Nie
but
no,
I'm
definitywnie Lies of P to jest najlepszy Souls-like nie od From Software. I to hands down. A jak jeszcze nie macie tego Lies of P, jak chcielibyście sprawdzić, to na Instant Gaming on ma bardzo dobrą kurwa cenę.
telling you, it does not work the way that people think it does. I've broken down how From Software games are designed, but today we're going to go over how Lies of P is literally built different. Speaking of building things differently, you don't have to play games the way they come out the box. I've been playing Night Rain, and honestly, sometimes when the storm comes in, it kind of annoys me because I just want to spend my time exploring and killing bosses. That's where today's sponsor, WeMod, comes in. Now, I can just press Alt plus W and bring up my WeMod overlay, click freeze daytime, and there you go. I've got all day to explore and murder things. WeMod allows you to easily adjust. Beyond that, you can have guides and maps pulled up as overlays so you don't have to
Z apka do cheatowania dosłownie? A to nie lepiej sobie pobrać jakiś gadżet, który jest faktycznie połączony konkretnie z daną grą. Możesz w nim więcej rzeczy robić?
constantly Google things on a separate screen or your phone.
Znaczy nie, no kurwa, takie rzeczy są przydatne, takie gadżety są fajne, jeżeli na przykład chcesz ćwiczyć. No sam używałem na przykład Elden Ringa, gadżetu do ćwiczenia, gdzie masz nielimitowane życie, żeby nie powtarzać bossa cały czas w kółko, tylko żeby móc siedzieć i go ćwiczyć 15 minut cały czas, ale to jest w darmowych apkach.
You can have fun with single player games on your own terms. Use my download link in the pinned comment and description.
Ty, ale powiem wam, że kurwa reklama you can have fun in single player games on your own rules, czy jak to tam było?
On your own terms.
Terms.
Use my
WeMod
sponsoring
też
this video,
jest
WeMod,
darmowy.
and now back to it. To understand
Tak,
Lies
oni
of P,
zarabiają.
the first thing you need to understand
Nie wolno, kurwa, właśnie fan jest zakazany. My jesteśmy, wy się z tego naśmiewacie, bo jesteście tak jak ja frustratami gamingowymi.
is how the main character works, Timothy Chalamet. Everything the player does originates from this player character, and nothing is more hotly debated than
Nie,
the
kurwa, nie, sorry, muszę to sprawdzić. Ty mnie strasznie nie zainteresowała reklama. Kiedy ja na materiale rozpocząłem reklamę czegoś? To jest darmowe? I to masz wbudowane mapki do gier, kurwa, normalnie? I co, grasz w Elden Ringa i masz... Nie gadaj, że masz całą interaktywną mapę za darmo, bo te wszystkie interaktywne mapy są płatne. W sensie płatne, tam masz limit 100 rzeczy. Kurwa, ciekawe. Dobra, chuj, bo mi nie zapłacili za to. Nie będę tego... Wytnij to z materiału, kurwa. Ej, dobrze brzmi, kurwa. To dobrze brzmi.
Parry windows of Lies of P. Well, the answer is, it doesn't exist. In gaming, a
Właśnie, nie zapłacili mi jeszcze. Jeszcze mi nie zapłacili.
parry is a set timing window baked into an enemy's animation. A good
Parowanie.
example is this combo from Elden Ring's DLC. You'll see
Jezu,
6
przepiękna
different
Helena.
parry opportunities throughout this entire combo, each opportunity lasting only a single frame. So what the hell? Does that mean I have one frame to perfectly time my parry? No, sir. The player inputs a parry, the character performs the animation, and the game allots you a set amount of active parry frames.
No tam nie
And
wiem, jest
if
7,
you've timed those to
11?
overlap with that
Klatek na
one frame
parowanie?
opportunity baked into the boss, then you get a parry. You can extend those active frames available to you by using different shields or the size of the parry detector. Also, game developers can make bosses more beginner-friendly by extending the window a boss is susceptible to being parried, sometimes up to 3 frames instead of 1. But none of this parry stuff happens at all in Lies of P. Lies of P uses a system called Perfect Guard, basically Parry's hot cousin that I much prefer. let's take a look at what that system looks like for your first time using it. To start, you wait in front of an oncoming attack as the panic wells inside you, your hands get sweaty, and you start feeling sick.
Mam spaghetti.
In the literal blink of an eye, the attack bursts towards you, and you frantically press the guard button. As best we can tell, 0.1 seconds after the player character starts the guard animation, the game runs a check. What's it checking? First, to see if you shit your pants. And second, it starts a check that lasts a measly 0.15 seconds, or 9.3 frames at 60 frames per second. If your player model overlaps with an active hit detector while you are within those 0.15 seconds, then the game registers a perfect guard.
Ale to jest ciekawe. To nie jest średni czas reakcji, kurwa, człowieka? To nie jest właśnie przeciętny, kurwa, czas gracza, faktycznie kogoś, kto aktywnie gra? Bo kierowcy Formuły 1 dochodzą do 100 milisekund, a przeciętny człowiek ma 200-250. Średnia to 200-300 u gracza. Nie no, 150 to jest chyba właśnie tak średnia gracza, nie? Mi się wydaje. A może gadam pierdoły, może 150-200 to będzie gracza. Właśnie chyba 150-200 to będzie u gracza. No nie, dobra, taka dygresja.
If you press it too early, those 0.15 seconds pass, and you will simply take reduced damage with a basic guard. It's really precise. To understand how fast 0.15 seconds is, I am going to flash a nude pic of myself on screen, and you won't be able to catch it. Why you still
Kurwa, nie zdążyłem.
watching, bro? I'm not actually gonna do it. And on 0.25x speed.
What the hell?
Anyway, congratulations, you've done your first perfect guard. Now do it like 15 times again, because that's how many times it takes to actually stagger a boss in this game. All of that seems crazy, and you know what?
To się wydaje szalone na papierze, ale jest różnica. To jest bardzo proste do wytłumaczenia, o co tu chodzi. Bo jeżeli zaczniesz tak komuś tłumaczyć na podstawie tego, że musiałby mieć taki czas reakcji i za każdym razem klikać perfekcyjnie, to brzmi faktycznie jak niewykonalne. Ale klikać cały czas w odpowiednim tempie faktycznie w takim przedziale milisekund wcale nie jest tak ciężko. O to chodzi. Bo to jeżeli ktoś gra na perkusji i robi na przykład, nie wiem, 64 kurwa albo 128 na stopie, to nie ma takiego czasu reakcji, żeby robić 128 i łapać czyjeś frame'y w takim rytmie, tylko on po prostu to równomiernie naciska w takim tempie.
Kinda is. A common comparison is Lies of P to Sekiro. I've actually covered an entire video on Sekiro, which you should watch, but essentially there are 0.2 seconds of deflection frames in that game, compared to the 0.15
To prawda,
in
do
Lies
tego
of...
wychodzą jeszcze dźwiękowe informacje, no. I wizualne. A nie musisz po prostu kliknąć w kwadracik, nie? Jak cię zielone zaświeci na czerwone, czy tam na odwrót.
That's a 25% reduction in timing window. There is an improved perfect guard mod made by someone who helped tremendously with this video. Shout out Andrew RCR, which brings the timings of Lies of P perfect guards in line with Sekiro. If you're interested, link is in the description. Or, and not a lot of people will tell you this, you can just spam the guard button over and over and put the game in easy mode. Look how easy this game is. Anyone who's played this game is very confused and angered by this footage. I'm messing with you. This footage is actually from a modded game file which removes a very important game feature called guard lock.
Jezu, kurwa, usuwaj takie rzeczy z gry, to równie dobrze sobie na YouTubie, kurwa, możesz obejrzeć.
Clearly, the challenge of a precisely timed combat system is gone if you just need to spam the deflect button as fast as you can and could win with that. To stop this, the game will literally disable your perfect guard frames if you're spamming. Like a little kid getting his favorite toy, just taken away from him. Granted, you do get your perfect guard frames back 0.5 seconds after your last spammed guard animation. Notice I said spammed animation, not spammed input, because your deflect frames are based off your character's animation, not on your button press. Watch this. I'm spamming deflect this entire sequence. So obviously I take damage from the first hit due to the lock, but the knockback of that hit makes my character unable to continue spamming the deflect animation. So the next time the character is able to do it is longer than 0.5 seconds, the lock is gone, and I get lucky. This again differs from games like Sekiro, where spamming triggers different animations which look the same, but each has progressively smaller deflect frame windows, but never actually reaching zero. Your chance of getting lucky with the deflect never goes to zero in Sekiro. This means you can more easily abuse spamming in games like Sekiro. Some bosses like Centipede Giraffe can be beaten by just spamming deflect, and you won't take damage once.
Znaczy, czysto teoretycznie każdego bossa w Sekiro da się pokonać spamowaniem, bo to jest tak jak paradoks małpy na maszynie do pisania, no bo czysto teoretycznie, jeżeli postawimy małpę przed maszyną do pisania i damy jej nielimitowany czas, to ona napisze każdą istniejącą książkę na świecie, wciskając randomowe przyciski. Czysto teoretycznie. Więc czysto teoretycznie każdego bossa w Sekiro da się pokonać po prostu spamowaniem.
You have to be lucky with not only spam timing, but also whether the
Znowu te
boss
małpy.
just so happens.
Kurwa, jaki ja wczoraj oglądałem zajebisty eksperyment o małpach, nie? W sensie, no, te stare eksperymenty o małpach, one są kwestionowalne pod względem moralnym, ale kojarzycie eksperyment małpy, zaraz wam powiem jak się nazywa, bo na Wikipedii o tym czytałem, świetna sprawa, mam to zapisane. Kojarzycie eksperyment małpy Harlowa, czy nie? To jest zajebiste. Wzięli małpę, małą, i umieścili ją w pokoju z 2 sztucznymi matkami. Jedną sztuczną matką, która przypominała małpę, była pluszakiem małpy i dawała jej ciepło i komfort, a druga małpa, która była po prostu zestawem drutów, która ją karmiła. I pomimo tego, że ta druciana matka daje jej jedzenie, to za każdym razem, gdy ta małpa czuła przerażenie, strach, jakieś odrzucenie, to wracała do tej sztucznej matki. Do sztucznej matki pluszowej, której dawała komfort i ciepło. I to był eksperyment, który miał potwierdzić, że my nie szanujemy innych osób ze stada na podstawie tego, że dają nam jedzenie, tylko szanujemy te osoby, które faktycznie z którymi jesteśmy w stanie wybudować jakąś więź i dają nam komfort. Czyli jeżeli miałbyś na przykład przemocowego ojca, który by cię karmił i zapewniał ci dach nad głową, i matkę, która by ci tego nie zapewniała, ale dawałaby ci komfort i by cię kochała, to wolałbyś zawsze spędzać czas z matką. Ciekawy w chuj to jest. Można się naprawdę mocno pochylić nad takim eksperymentem i zastanowić.
Happens to force you in knockback long enough for the lock to wear off. Absolutely brutal. If all of this sounds way too hard, then I would just suggest playing the game with rolling. It's super fun, super viable. There absolutely is iframes in Lies of P for rolling, and from my
odwrócenie roli przez psychikę, bliżej nam do dopaminy niż potrzeb. No.
testing, they appear to activate immediately on the roll input. You even have a secondary roll after your primary one. You have a brief moment in between those two rolls, then you start looping it all over again. Beyond that, yes, backstep also has iframes on it. I don't use it much, but it is viable for dodging, and it does look stylish as hell. Now, we couldn't find answers on rolling iframes. That data is only in the source code that we don't have access to, but I can say from experience, it is significantly more forgiving to roll in this game than to perfect guard. Not just from a timing perspective, but from a positioning one, where rolling can allow you to put yourself in places where a significant amount of the boss's attacks can be ignored entirely. And now, speaking of bosses, let's take a look at some that I found most interesting. Parade Master, an overall simple introductory boss, really nothing to be concerned. Wait a minute, do you see that? That's the first time we've ever featured an actual real-life hit box on this channel. I know, I'm excited as well. For those of you that have followed this series, you know that From Software has never used anything other than a hit capsule or circle ever. even when a boss was begging for a box. I've never been to Japan, so I don't know if all their mail comes in weird capsules and balls and circles, because they do not believe in boxes over there at all. But Lies of P does. They don't use them necessarily as much as I'd want them to, but they do use them. Green monster. Okay, have you ever felt so strongly about something and you couldn't prove it, but it later turned out that you were right? That's how I'm gonna feel right now.
Kurwa, duże są
Look
te
at
hitboxy
this
zawsze.
hit detector on this two-hand overhead slam on this boss. First off, it doesn't cover his whole body. That's fine.
Kurwa. Nienawidzę tego bossa w tej grze. Już chyba wiem dlaczego, bo ma kurwa tak przerośnięte hitboxy. Ale nie rozumiem tego. Dlaczego kurwa ten hitbox musi być tak duży? Czy to jest sztuczne zwiększanie poziomu trudności? Przecież ten hitbox powinien być kurwa 3-krotnie mniejszy, żeby pokrywał tylko jego rękę. Okej? Tutaj jestem w stanie zrozumieć, że jest jakiś efekt tego slama i dlatego on musi być trochę większy, żeby to nie była tylko jego ręka, tylko minimalny obszar wokół, ale no to dwukrotnie mniejsze by wystarczyło, nie?
Fine, but where it does cover looks pretty reasonable. Now, let's take a look at the same attack, except when he comes down with just one hand. Look at it. It's not even close to his body. Gets
No, nie no, rozjebany jest ten
worse as he
hitbox.
comes down, and it does extend his
No, jest rozjebany totalnie ten hitbox. Ale czemu on jest kurwa tak zrobiony?
full body length. I was constantly mistiming this overhead slam attack in this game because I think I'm deflecting this body, right? No, you're deflecting the hit detector that is...
No tu się musisz dosłownie czasami w tych grach nauczyć tego odruchem Pawłowa. Musisz dostać 3 razy w łeb i się nauczysz, że 4. raz nie chcesz dostać w łeb już od tego ataku i musisz uciec wcześniej.
way ahead of it, and it has 2 nearly identical variations, making it even more impossible to perfect guard consistently when you only have 0.15 second window. This really throws things off. Why not just use a box on the body so it better aligns with what the player is responding to on screen? Those of you who were here on stream when I was fighting this boss and I was saying, I swear to God, there are 2 different timings for this same overhead slam attack, I was right. I was right. That's one for Team Game Sucks, and the You Suck squad can suck it. Ooh, feels good to be right. Anyway, let's take a look at some more boxes. This acid spit is wild. It literally is just a box of pain if you're in it, safe if you're out of it. Compare that to how FromSoft handles hit detection for these types of attacks, and you can see the difference in approaches. Lies of P never does this stuff. You either are in the no-go zone or not. Lastly, for phase 1, down he dips into the ground, floats through the void in the matrix, then explodes right where the player is. Now, in phase 2, you basically get the gooey version of the scrapped Watchman boss. Now, what confused the hell out of me in this fight was this running and jumping sequence. To start, he just has this odd hit detector on his torso, and his legs aren't actually a threat at all, even though they're the things most often in contact with the player as he jumps over you. I was just spamming guard, assuming that he was going to be hitting me, but he wasn't. And then when he closes the sequence with a jump on the player, there's no hit detection when his metal legs literally kick you in the face. Just an AoE blast a few frames after he's landed. I was way off on like all of that on my perfect guard attempts when I fought this boss. Really weird attack. King's Flame Fuocho, I think. What's interesting to me about this boss is these swing attacks. They opted to place the hit detection actually entirely below his swinging arm. Obviously, in playtesting, they found it way too easy for players to simply position themselves at the back of the swing or just close to the boss. I guess this was a quick fix due to time constraints. Ideally, you'd have to have the animators rework the attack, but if you don't got the time, this is kind of an imperfect solution. You'll notice they didn't add it on other attacks though, so sticking close to him can still be the play on occasion. Now, when he charges at you, ignore this large circle, that's not a damage detector. But when you watch closely, I don't even think his arm is for damage detection. All this extra
kurwa, tu jaki jest fajny hitbox, bardzo równy, nie?
Seems to be just for destructible collisions like crates. But this weird ass little box on
Ten-
the floor,
ten box to nie
that
wiem, po co
is
jest,
what you are
kurwa.
actually
Patrz! I tu dostajesz atakiem.
dodge rolling or perfect guarding. This has to be one of the strangest contrasts to what the player sees as the threat versus what they are actually dealing with. But yeah, beware the box. To finish this guy, they do have a cool mechanic where his flame spread on the floor doesn't spread out in the direction if it makes contact with a pillar. So hide behind a pillar or line yourself up with one. Pretty cool. Oh, and if you catch his oil bullets with your face, they don't damage you and they despawn. Fallen Archbishop Andreas. All right, so there's a
Albo
level of
slamów
detail
dużo.
that is kind of cool on this specific attack. Notice there is no hit detection on the leg that doesn't raise up on the slam down.
O, to
So for
fajne,
this move,
dobrze
if you can
wiedzieć.
be on that side, or your Spectre is on that side, you have nothing to worry about. Now, where things get a little is the tongue attacks. I wouldn't advise perfect guarding these because the discrepancy in size and position of where the tongue is visually to the
Kurwa!
hit detector for it is ridiculous. Static hit detection never really works well on flexible weapons like this. You'll see this often with tail swings in FromSoft games, for example. Although it is possible to have multiple linked detectors adjust in size to better
Ej, a to jest ciekawe, bo przecież w Night Rainie ten łańcuch się bardzo przyjemnie dodżuje. I zobaczysz, że to jest tylko dlatego, że jest faktycznie przegubowo tak zrobiony hitbox.
align with a flexible weapon as it swings, which was done in Night Rain, so it can be done. They just hardly ever do it, and they didn't do it here. Now, eventually, we do get to phase 2, though, where this thing grows an entire man from his ass. But look at this use of a box. Nice. The box boys are eating good tonight.
A tu jest
Meanwhile,
bardzo
the
fajny
Cylinder
hitbox.
Squad is taking L's left and right
Zajebisty jest ten
because this
hitbox.
right here
O Jezu, to kurwa przesada. No i
is
pochwaliłem za
dog shit.
wcześnie.
This acid spray sucks to get hit with in game, and I am now even more tilted with seeing how the hit detector for it works. Not even remotely close to where the acid actually is. Basically, pay
Ja mam wrażenie, że te gry po przejściu to powinny mieć tryb, w którym sobie możesz włączyć
attention to the
hitboxy.
line of the man spraying it, not the actual acid on screen. And finally, as far as I can tell, they forgot to activate the hit detector on the right arm of this lunge forward. Oops. King of Puppets. For this boss, it seems like the art designers and the development team were not on the same page. But again, you can always cheat it with the invisible hit detector, being in a position that allows the boss to do damage to the player. You can imagine if they kept detection on the actual arm,
No,
then you would be able to
przesunięta,
literally
no,
never
okej.
be hit when
No
up
właśnie.
close. It's no big deal. It's not like some asshole is going to go through the trouble of showing hit detection on YouTube. Now, what's also weird is this combo. The little arm comes down with this huge detector on it, right? And then the
Wielki.
boss swings that same arm in a backhand attack, and now that same arm hit detection is
Ma
back to
normalny
being teeny
hitbox.
tiny and underneath the arm. Contrast that with later in the fight where the same backhand actually does keep the large hit detector from the forward swing. I know I'm being a stickler here, but I played this game mainly doing perfect guards, and you can't just triple the size of what I'm perfect guarding when I have a 0.15 second window without any way for me to know that you did that unless I have like a downloaded modded game. Anyway, I will get off my soapbox. Here's what the range of his vacuum suck attack looks like for those that asked. Now, this Fury Slam attack, though, suddenly makes sense to me when it's slowed way down. So it has 3 timings for perfect guard, depending where you are. First is actually this foot stomp. The second is his little T-Rex arms that slam down first in his center. Then the big vacuums if you are farther out.
Też bardzo
After all
ładne
that,
hitboxy
there is
na
a
tych
final
vacuumach.
vacuum
Na tym
attack
bardzo
at the
fajne.
end that covers everything. There's a lot of detail packed into that one attack. I appreciate it. Romeo. This guy behaves as you would expect. Slashy, sword guy. Not allowed to go over here and get good. I don't know. Champion Victor. This boy is quick and easy. He punches you a lot. But what's interesting is this
To był łatwy
extra
bardzo,
hitbox
nie?
below his arm. This is designed to keep you from just being super close to avoid being hit. Makes sense on a swing like this. But what doesn't make sense is when it's still on certain attacks where his arm is turned the other direction. See that extra hitbox in front of his arm?
Rozjebane.
That's the thing for below his arm, but applied on this attack, it pushes detection beyond what was intended towards the player. You'll see it isn't applied on standalone arm swings like this. So if that run-up attack ever felt like an early guard timing more than usual or inconsistent, that's why. The center arm has a hit detector that is intended for an attack later in that combo, but was not turned off for this initial punch. Now, as for his grab attack, be aware that it covers his entire arm and shoulder. Watching closely, you'll see the character is clipped by the shoulder, then teleports into the hand. Laxasia the Complete. This is one of the few bosses of the game that actually uses area of effect attacks. Her grab, by the way, is just her sword hit detector, and it can be perfect guarded or dodged. And also her longest, most intimidating combo can simply be ran away from. I loved this boss. She was challenging, but completely within reason. In her second phase, the fact that you can perfect deflect her lightning back to her makes her one of the best bosses for using attacks that intimidated you at first, like that long sword combo or lightning attacks, and then using them as your best tools against her. You feel totally different about the fight once it's finished than when you started. Even though there are AoE lightning attacks, they feel obvious visually and they aren't overbearing. 10 out of 10 from me. Simon Manus. This boss's phase 1 works essentially how you would expect. I'll show some of the most requested attacks on screen, but I do want to point out something different in Lies of P's entire combat philosophy compared to From Software's. This game allows you to breathe. You can get hit by a combo, get up, heal, and occasionally even get an attack off on a boss before they go into another attack sequence. The openings for healing, applying buffs, sharpening your weapon, everything is much more forgiving. When you break a boss's posture, you have time to position yourself for a critical hit. That time can even be extended with upgrades. It feels like you lose boss fights because you ran out of heals due to little errors adding up over time, not because of some gotcha one-shot attack or an insane string of combos that will kill you if you mistime a roll or two. Just wanted to take a second to appreciate how well Lies of P found a way to balance difficulty with fairness in a way that I think is even better than From Software has done in recent years. Now, with that out of the way, phase 2 of this boss has some quirkiness to it. Specifically, this air blast attacks large hit detector on its startup. There's really nothing on screen to support that kind of hit detection to appear at all. For his other attacks, though, they operate as you would expect, but they just look cool as hell. And finally, for his arm...
Ej, ten widz chyba jeden jest po kurwa jakimś medykamencie, nie? Coś się tam nie tak. A ja go kojarzę, to normalny widz, normalnie pisał. Patrzę na jego poprzednie wiadomości, czy go odciąć od tego czatu? No, weźcie mu tam, dajcie jakieś 24 godziny, no.
Arm of God attack. We had a hard time getting certain hit detectors to appear on screen due to the nature of how the game was built, but at least this can give you a better perspective on what this final smash looks like when you aren't frantically spam rolling and shitting your pants. And now to close this video out, Nameless Puppet. The active hitbox for his weapon is this smaller hit detector popping in as he swings, super precise to the model, and it's what he uses for almost all of his attacks. Honestly, everything activates as it should, and it's just a matter of learning his moveset. Super well-built final boss. If I can get the animations viewable on a timetable, I think a comparison in attack timings to games like Sekiro would be good for this boss. Let me know if you would want to see a more detailed comparison when I cover the DLC of Lies of P, but for his more unique attacks, this red flame attack
humanoidalni przeciwnicy mają bardzo ładne
flashes
hitboxy,
for a moment and then no hit detection on the residuals at all, which also looks cool as hell again right here. Then this flame sword swing is super reminiscent of Sekiro's final boss. Although I think the way that Sekiro uses the whole jump and redirect actual lightning is way cooler. And that's it for the base game. If you enjoyed watching the video,
fajne wideo, musimy sobie więcej poglądać z hitboxów.